What would you tell somebody who's like thinking about it but doesn't really know anyone that does it? They've maybe seen a couple videos or something and they're intrigued by it.
I would say...
What's up, everybody? Joshua Thomas Gray here with, like, I guess a little van tour. Talon is in town, so we're gonna do a quick little walkthrough here. Let's check this thing out.
What's up, everyone? I'm Talon Sei, make YouTube videos. I've known Josh for almost like 2 years now, I guess, and hanging out with him the first time is sort of when I had like the really big spark of the idea to do this whole van thing. So this right here is a 2019 Winnebago Revel, similar to how like Volkswagen had the Westfalia vans. The interior is sort of outfit already, but it's built on a 2018 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter chassis. This thing is a Winnebago Revel, but on steroids. I've put a ton of modifications into it to make it more suitable for off-road, and there's a huge list, so I'll just run through them pretty quickly. Up front, I have a Backwoods Adventure Mod bumper with a full rigid lighting kit. I have a 20-inch light bar with flood and spot. I got flood and spot lights up here, little pod lights. There's a Warn VR10 series winch up front, about 10,000 pounds. I've pulled people out of like lake beds and stuff with that in the past. And then up top, I have a 50-inch rigid light bar. Coming around to the side, all of the exterior stuff, like these were put on by Winnebago, and then I've added other things like Method race wheels. I'm running BF Goodrich KO2s. These are 275s. And then a full custom suspension tuned by Agile Off-Road. So we have a bunch of nerdy suspension stuff. I won't bore you guys with all of that though. On the side here, got a side ladder from Illuminous because up top I'm running 3 different solar panels, about 300, a little over 300 watts probably of solar. A Wii Boost for cell phone reception when I'm like way out boondocking. And then Max Tracks up there too. Haven't had to use them yet, but they're there just in case because I travel around solo quite a bit. More suspension stuff in the rear. On the back, I had to go with an Agile Off-Road tire carrier because I needed a full-size spare. Once you get bigger tires on a vehicle, it's a really good idea. The other tire that comes with the Sprinter underneath would be like a donut, so that's going to be useful. Hopefully I never have to use that either though. And then if you look down here, I have an ARB twin compressor onboard air system so I can air down the tires if I get into any like off-road gnarly washboard roads, things of that nature. There's a little bit of odds and ends everywhere, like a step here so I can make my bed in the back. Over on this side, I've got a 10-foot awning from Carefree. That was outfit by Winnebago, so that comes on these vans. Modified the exhaust because I kept smashing it off of rocks when I'm off-road, so we cut that and lifted it up. We cut the side step and made it a little bit shorter to fit that in there. And then the whole interior. So for the interior of the van, most of this stuff here was put in place by Winnebago. The only thing that I've really changed are like I wrapped the cabinets in multicam because they're a sponsor of the road trip that I'm on right now. We have captain chairs up front, which are very nice. Tall ceiling, of course, so you can stand up even up here where you're driving. I got a bunch of patches up here. Both of the seats spin around like you see there. We got a little table, pops out on the side. If you flip this around, 2 people can eat at it. I typically work right here or from that chair. And then this little bench seat here has 2 seat belts underneath. So if you got kids, you could technically put them there. Not as safe as a shoulder belt. And then this whole thing turns into a bed going right towards you guys and Josh and the camera. So over here, we have the kitchen and the galley. This thing flip up to give you extra counter space. And then this flips down, allows you to make a platform across here. It's small. I've had friends sleep on it though, and they said that it's comfortable. So it's there if you need it. Now back here we have everything that controls the whole van. We have the Zamp solar charger for the roof. As you can see, that thing's hooked up now, super full all the time. Got an inverter for all of the regular wall outlets. An S-bar heating system, which keeps my water from freezing in the wintertime. It helps me warm the engine before I start it up when you're in really cold climates, and it works both ways. So as I'm driving, it can heat up my water, heat up the air back here, and it's super efficient. And that was actually modification that I've done to make that thing work that way. Here, we got the bathroom. It's also a dry or wet storage closet. Got bamboo racks in there if anything is wet, hang dirty towels and clothing in there. 5-gallon cassette toilet. We got 21 gallons of fresh water in here. And I'll just pull my duffel bag of clothing out there whenever I want to shower. Now for the kitchen, we got a Dometic sink. We got a stovetop over here, true induction cooktop. NovaCool fridge. Some storage and pantry. Another cabinet that I use for food. Just like little nooks and crannies that you just shove stuff in when you're living in a van like I am. Now I guess we'll go to the back. So this is the back bedroom area. The bed is on a Euro lift, so this whole thing will actually lift up with these like seatbelt looking straps here up to the ceiling, and it gives you 140 cubic feet of storage space, I believe. So everything underneath here is basically like my garage, and I can show you that from back here then. The windows in the entire van are pretty cool because they pop open, they're double paned, so they're insulated really well. And then once they're closed, you got a bug screen, or if you pull up, you get shade. So those are super useful. It's my map over here of everywhere that I've been. The red pins are the past travels, blue pins are where I plan on going. So I got quite a bit of the country to cover yet. Dennis, dude. So the van also has the pop outs on the side, which you can kind of tell from the outside. It gives you like maybe 4 inches here and then a little bit more on this side, and I'm about 5'10", and I can lay here pretty comfortably. 2 people can sleep in the bed. It's between like a queen and a full, and it's pretty damn comfortable actually. So this is the whole back storage area. We do have an AC unit up top, which I don't use very often. That's actually the only thing that won't run in this van without being plugged into shore power, so you have to be plugged in to get that thing running until I eventually do a lithium upgrade. Then everything will run off of just solar and the batteries. Back here I just have like all the fun stuff. Skis, ski boards, boots, one wheel. I have a Specialized Turbo Levo. That's an electric full suspension mountain bike. And then just other random stuff. Helmets, hoses, rock climbing gear, knives. I got an axe and chairs and camera stuff, tripods, more helmets, fire pit, solo stove. Shout out to Chad from Living the Van Life. He loves his, so that's why I bought one of those. Crocs, chargers. That's pretty much everything, man.
So how long have you been van lifing it?
I bought the van a year, coming up on 2 years. It'll be 2 years in March, so I'm not quite there yet. And I've been full-time from like just before the whole COVID thing happened. I did all of the Northeast states. I'm from Eastern Pennsylvania originally. I did 9 states up there, came back home and just kind of hung out for a little bit to see how things were going to play out. And then I left again in mid-June. So I've been on the road for, if you count the whole thing in total, almost the whole year at this point really. But I've been on a run of like 3 months or so right now, and I don't plan on stopping. Everyone asked, like, what are your plans? Like, how long is this going to go for? I didn't have plans when I started, and I think it's just going to continue until I'm bored of it, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
What do you like so much about it?
Just the freedom. You know how it is too, just like being able to just go wherever. I was talking with you earlier, it kind of gets not boring, but I hate being stagnant. I hate staying in the same area. There's so much to see out there, so I'll check out a place for a day or two and then I just kind of move on to the next spot, and it's just the most freeing thing that I've ever done. Quitting my job and like all the crazy stuff I've done over the past couple of years, and this is by far like my favorite decision.
What would you tell somebody who's like thinking about it but doesn't really know anyone that does it? They've maybe seen a couple videos or something and they're intrigued by it.
I would say do a lot of research and try to reach out to some people. It's really, a lot of people have this like dream and they've always wanted to do this whole van thing. But there's a ton of good resources out there. People like myself, you can reach out to me. I'm kind of busy, but I'll try to respond. And there's just a ton of good knowledge out there on the internet. I would say take action. Actually do it. Like if this is something that you're thinking about and you don't have anything tying you down, I don't have wife and kids and stuff like that, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me to kind of take it on. It's a big challenge, but it's also like one of the best things I've done. Big takeaway from going east to west coast, dude. Like, so I'm not a very outgoing person, kind of introverted, and I like being on the road by myself. Like I'm completely content doing that, but just being able to connect with people who I've either met through the internet or are just complete strangers and just like strike up conversation. There's so much bad stuff going on in the world right now, but if you kind of put yourself out there, there's so much good that is happening in the world too, and it kind of goes overlooked when everything seems like it's falling apart. So I've just been like staying super positive through all of this because, I mean, there's nothing else you can do. You can't just dwell on everything that's happening right now. So met some awesome people, some people I'll like never forget, and I'll stay in touch with them. And it also kind of rekindled old relationships too. I mean, I haven't seen you in however long. We stay in touch, yeah. But I can just like come into town. Friends that I didn't even know like lived in a certain area, they'll hit me up, be like, yo, you're here? I'm like, yeah. And then we just like hit it off and just hang out like it was old times. So just thankful for all the connections and all the new ones that are coming too.
Sick. People can find you on YouTube, Instagram.
YouTube and Instagram at Talon Sei. That's it.
And they can follow along.
Yeah.
What's the plan?
I'm doing 3 videos a week, just kind of vlogging and showing all the adventures that I'm going on. The plan is to take the van to as many states as possible. Originally, I was going to do 48, but then I was like, nah, I'm going to drive to Alaska, make it 49, and make it like a big thing. I've also looked into chartering the van to Hawaii. I don't know if you've ever looked into getting a vehicle across the ocean, but it is expensive, especially when it's 10 feet tall and weighs like 8,000 pounds. So take the van to as many states as possible and just live life, man. That's it. Later, dude. I'll see you whenever I come back.
Sounds good. Peace. All right, but for real, I miss you.
But for real.
For real, bye.
I'll be in town until